G'day guys, welcome back. This is probably like the I don't know, sixth time I try to remake this video. But I just you've watched my channel long enough. You've seen me complain about this since Super Rugby, right? I feel like I'm watching a replay of Waratahs versus the Blues. I mean, it's not the Brumbies started off the season with like record win against the Crusaders and only to go completely down the drain and losing to Moana Pacifica, a team that doesn't exist anymore, right? It's the same story on repeat, just at a different level, a different team, a different colored jersey, and everybody's still just doing the exact same problems that they have just no sense of a progression, no sense of accountability. Everybody look at each other saying, hey, a 21-12 lead at halftime is good enough, right? I talk about this as well, right? It's like I blame the structure of Rugby Australia, the structure of Super Rugby. I talk about how the Brumbies don't hold their players accountable. They're not holding their players to higher standards, right? I talk about all that, but in the end of the day, seriously, guys, seriously, it is up to you. It is up to you to maximize your career. It is up to you to maximize your dream, not the coaches, not the Brumbies staff that tells you what to do. It is you. You need to do this for yourselves. And let me tell you something, guys. Everybody knows when I make these videos, and I never talk about this, but you can probably tell when you watch me make these videos, I live my life in envy. This is something I never admitted to anyone, but I admit it to you. I live my life in envious of every rugby player that gets to play for the Australian national team. God, how much I wish I have a fraction of the fucking talent that I see that the players out there. Every fucking week I watch the Wallabies play and I say, fuck me. If God has given me a fraction of that guy's fucking talent, oh, what I fucking do, what I will fucking do to maximize that opportunity that's given to me. But God has not given me that fucking talent. So all I have to do is sit here and fucking complain on the fucking internet. And it fucking disappoints me so much to see this fucking team with so much fucking talent going to halftime and come out and just be like, okay, guys, that's fucking good enough. I think that's fucking good enough, right? I mean, they did so well in the first half, like actually play like a fucking proper rugby team, and then just come out and just like, yeah, fuck it. Like, this is what we did in Super Rugby, guys, right? Fuck it. Fuck it. Let's just call it a day. I'm sure like the pundits will just say like we did really well in the first half, and we're gonna congratulate it. We're gonna probably get a fucking trophy, right? For saying how fucking good we're gonna people are gonna gaslight us and tell us how fucking good we are in the first half, and just call it a day. Call it a day. You know what, guys? Here's the truth. Here's the fucking truth, guys. There's nothing worse. There's absolutely nothing fucking worse. Living in envy like me, the only thing worse than living in envy of other people's success like I do is having that fucking talent and never live to your full fucking potentials. Okay? If the structure, if Super Rugby isn't getting you to your best possible, if Rugby Australia, right, isn't holding you to a better standard, if the structure, at the Wallabies isn't making you push yourself to become the best version possible, you gotta do it yourselves. You gotta fucking do it for yourselves. Because boy, if you waste your fucking talent and you're just gonna be like, fuck it, oh fuck it, who cares? Like, we're gonna get paid, right? I mean, Rugby Australia probably will pay us more money. Otherwise, we're gonna go overseas, right? Who cares? Who gives a fuck? If that's your attitude, mate, sure, make your money, go into retirement. You'll be fine with your wife and kids and big house and whatnot, and maybe even get a contract overseas. You'll be fine. But let me tell you, wasting your talent especially when you have an opportunity, it's something that you'll look back in 30 years' time. It's one day you'll look back And you'll look at your children, maybe your grandchildren, and think to yourself, boy, have I had an opportunity to do this. Boy, have I had an opportunity to potentially make something out of myself. Really make it big in rugby. Maybe win a World Cup one at the time. And that's when you're gonna go, yeah, I botched it. Right? You will, you'll just be another one of the players that's forgotten once you retire. You're just gonna be another one of those players that, people will talk about how good that guy, the highlight reel back in the days when he had his highlights. And boy, he's never won a World Cup. He's never won a Super Rugby. Oh, never. Or the great so-and-so never won it. He's never done it. But boy, look at the highlights. Look at all the highlights. Oh, how good. How brilliant. That is something that you're going to have to live with. If you don't do it now, if you don't take it upon yourselves, not rely on Rugby Australia to push you, you're going to take it upon yourselves and take yourselves to the next level. Because I am sick of it. I am sick of it. I am sick of it. Anyway, let's talk about just how well this team played and how impressed I was in the first half, right? Just scoreboard aside, every aspect of the game, we outplayed the French. We were able to explore those 50-22s. I think we got 3 times. One of them was caught back. The TMO was horrendous, but we're not going to blame the TMO today. I think we got 3, at least 2 that was caught. We did really well in the breakdowns, turnovers. We scrambled in our defense. We did really good. Not really good. We did well to shut down some of the French options, but we weren't really shutting down before they get the ball out wide, right? So we could have done better, but we did well enough in the first half to hold out the French from just scoring. We did really well to shut down the French kicking options, right? And we did really well defensively to not miss our tackles. And what was really important to me was that just before halftime, we could have just tapped the ball and kicked the ball out. We did what the Springboks did. We'd taken the ball out for the sideline and went for one more play. Because that just little bit of extra, it's not really about scoring. Just that little bit of extra shows that you have the intent to do something good. And I was so impressed. I thought finally we've turned out a corner, right? The team is willing to go that little bit more just before halftime for just a slim opportunity to maybe get a penalty or something, to happy to risk it, potentially conceding points, to build that confidence, to build that just a little edge mentally and physically over your opponent. Impose your will upon your opponent and dictate what's the story. And I really, really like that. And somehow we go into halftime. Alright, did everyone take a fucking sleeping pill? And we see this in Super Rugby as well, right? If we're winning, we'll come out in the second half, try to do the same things, and in fact, do the same thing with like 80% intensity, and we get blown away by the New Zealand teams in Super Rugby. Every weekend, every week, week in, week out. Same story. But the French win at halftime, and they clearly improved. They looked at those options that they do so well, which is just kicking the ball down the sideline in that little train track and try to get your wingers to pressure it. Just work those short areas out wide with just ball in hand, one-on-one mismatches. And they really honed in on that in the second half. And you can clearly tell it's something that they've identified. And they did everything they could to keep the ball out wide and getting it wide. And whether it's a kick down the field, whether it's just passes between them, you put the Wallabies defense in shambles. In shambles. What did the Wallabies improve in the second half? In fact, the 50-22s, the kicking game that worked for the Wallabies, they stopped that, right? The tackles, despite the fact that I thought they could have done better in terms of shutting down the midfield options, They did worse. The defense just drifts across and nobody's taking anyone, and the French just runs past the ball back and forth between themselves in the back line. Nobody's getting tackled. Nobody's even trying to make tackles by the look of it. And next thing you know, there's a half break and then a bunch of offloads and it's try time. Just a little thing like that. Not only that, we did not recognize that was the problem at half time. Like, we weren't efficient enough in shutting down that center field. The rush defense wasn't quite there. But we allowed we got worse out of something that we did okay in the first half. We didn't hone in on any of that. Again, the breakdown I thought was good with Fraser McWright, but it wasn't clinical enough. Could have improved a bit. The game just completely, like, it's like at halftime, it's a chance to regroup, to improve. It's a chance to analyze what happened to you in the first half. And I think that every other team seems to have understood this, but the Wallabies seems to just actually taking halftime as a time to drink some orange juice or something. It is, I just, and also not to mention, right? One of the key aspect of the game that you can clearly see there's a lack of understanding lack of understanding at halftime is that when the French reserves came on, they came on early, 45 minutes, they brought a new level of energy into the French team. When the Wallabies reserves came on, they've taken the energy away from what was happening on the field. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing, not this. Is our reserves that much worse than the French reserves? Is our reserves just, I mean, there's a disconnect, right? How can this happen? How can the team understands what to do? Like, one team seems to clearly know what needs to be done, and the second team seems to be like, they put the Wallabies seems to be like, they put the reserves on the field and just be like, go for it. See what happens. And then they take time, like, you know, especially if you watch, I think Jem Slipper was probably the biggest example. It took him like 10 minutes or something to get into the game. He was completely lost. And the French immediately identified that he was lost and like had Jalibert to switch to the short side and ran straight at him and scoring immediately. It seems like the French actually understood who and what is coming onto the field and identify that as a weakness, whilst we don't even know what our players are supposed to be doing when we send onto the field. It seems the French understood what we were supposed to be doing and that we weren't doing, and they recognized it, yet we didn't know that ourselves. Like, that's like the Jem Slipper try, the one that he came on immediately conceded, was just clearest example. We did not prep the players. And mentally, we were just off. I don't know if, you know, the coaches didn't prepare the players properly. Mentally, we weren't ready. I think just Super Rugby players, this is how players always played. It's just not good enough for international test rugby. And it was embarrassing. The French knew our players better than we knew ourselves. In that one moment, you can see the difference between the two teams. Forget about the scoreboard. The war is already lost behind the scenes. This is, you know, it's like, we all know that, like, people have figured this out like thousands of years ago in warfare. If you understood what's going on with the opposition, with the enemy, they can't beat you. You can't lose. If you have information about your enemy, if you study your enemy, you have an edge on them. And if you have an edge, you can't lose the war. Somehow the French knew Jem Slipper as a weakness, and they exploited it immediately. You know, I anyway, I don't know if there's anything else I want to say. I already said that I don't want to talk about the TMO, but you can let me know your thoughts about the TMO in the comments. So it is what it is. It's yeah, it is just what it is. It is just what it is. Let's have a look at the match stats of the game. 4 tries to 6. 483 to 641. 23 defenders beaten for the Wallabies to 29. 12 turnovers conceded, 11 for the French. 140 tackles made for the Wallabies, 29 missed tackles. 216 for the French, 23 missed tackles. 25 kicks in play for both teams, 1 missed conversion, 3 missed for the French. 3 missed conversions. 748 kick meters for the Wallabies, 716 for the French. I actually thought our kicking game improved so much from last week, especially in the first half. No line-out lost and 1 against the French throw. So we're slightly better there. The scrum was probably quite even. I thought maybe the Tupu was going at an angle, but the referee was fine with it. But no clear advantage there for either team. 5 penalties conceded against the Wallabies. It was 1 yellow card. Cynical after a line break. I think with Tom Wright laying on the wrong side. I thought it was, yeah, you really can't do that. You get caught. You know, that's just what it is. You could argue that he was trapped, but with a line break like that, he needs to. Yeah, it's really up to him. He has to really make an effort to not be in that position. 9 penalties for the French, so we had better discipline. 1 yellow card for mere foul, shoulder to Valentini's head. I thought Valentini played really well this game, especially in the first half. Yeah, I felt like Valentini shouldn't be taken off, and I felt like Angus Bell should have kept on for a bit longer. Some of the backs probably could come on a little bit sooner. But yeah, it is. It doesn't really matter. The lack of the lack of accountability to the players. It's the problem here. Anyway, I think you'll watch the replay. I don't want to go any more into this. I don't want to relive the absolute horrendous recap of the game. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Watch the highlights. Yeah.